Okay, I think we're recording. Here we go. Hi boys and girls, it's me Butch. My name is Terry, David, Silver Cloud. Not native, just sounds that way. I'm 78 years old. Today is Thursday, what are we at? 6th of July, 2023. I'm down at English Bay, taking in some evening rays. And I don't really have anything much to talk about today, except that I've been researching cut and uncut, like what's going on. So I'm 78 years old, and when I grew up, the majority of the boys were cut. And all Jewish boys and men, and all Muslim boys and men, of course, will automatically be cut because it's part of their religion. But at the time I grew up, which was in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, 9 out of 10 guys, unless they were from Quebec or somewhere in Europe, would be cut. That means circumcised. Being cut means having your foreskin cut off. It's usually done when a baby's about a week old. So that's changed, and I go down to a nude beach here in Vancouver, Wreck Beach, and so I see lots of weenies, and I'm a gay male, so I've definitely seen lots of weenies up close. And what I've noticed over the last 20 to 30 years is that more and more and more guys are uncut. And I think the reason for that is that the government pays for a lot of medical things, and unless people ask for it, they're not going to do it because it just costs them more money. My understanding is that the reason that it became popular for more boys to be circumcised when I was young is that in America, particularly between the First and Second World Wars, it's my understanding that such large numbers of men who were being conscripted or signing up for the armed forces had such serious problems with their weenies because of not being cut and never having been instructed how to care for themselves properly, that the Surgeon General at the time recommended that all boys be cut. Just this is getting serious. But that, I don't know how it is in the States these days. That may have died out. Probably more American guys are cut than not. In surveys done with women, there's been many surveys done. They're not scientific, but a guy going out with his camera, like my kind of camera, and simply asking girls what they prefer. Overwhelmingly, the girls preferred their guys to be cut. In one situation where a guy asked 20 girls, only one girl preferred a guy who was uncut. All the other girls wanted their weenies to be cut. But the percentage is extraordinarily high. 9 out of 10 women seem to prefer guys to be cut, which begs the question, why aren't mothers realizing this and having their boys cut? I have no idea. That's what I've been thinking about the past few days. And if you want to help me out with it, just leave a comment whether you're cut or not cut or what you think about the whole thing. For me, I've always preferred my boys to be cut. And I've certainly had a lot of up-close experience with both. The majority I've dealt with were cut anyway. But I find in terms of making a guy be able to come to a climax more easily, cut guys are much, much, much easier. Guys that are uncut, they can have issues from being overly sensitive to who knows what. Often just overly sensitive, so you got to know how to deal with that. So I was one of those guys that was uncut, and my grandmother taught me to pull my foreskin back from, I can remember when she was teaching me how to pee in the toilet bowl, to always pull my foreskin back. So I didn't even realize that I was uncut until one of my gay friends, we were talking about, he said, "Well, you're not cut." And I said, and I realized I didn't really quite understand what all of that was about, that it really was a surgical thing and not just something that occurred naturally. And in my 40s, I had myself circumcised. The government paid for it, but so you may not be able to get the government to pay for a circumcision because they may not consider it medically necessary. The urologist to which my doctor referred me said, "You don't need to be cut." And why are you doing it? I said, "It's causing me huge emotional distress." And even though he was a cantankerous old dude, he agreed to let me get cut. But he didn't do it himself. He assigned a couple of students to do it. But nevertheless, even though it's not perfect, I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled that my unit is now cut. I like it much, much, much better. And all that emotional distress I had about it is gone. And if I have a choice out there, or if I meet a guy and I don't know the state of his weenie, I'm not going out with him. It's that important to me in my old age. Like, I've made my decisions. I've had my experience. I want guys cut. So maybe you can help me out and let me know what you think in the comments. And I've told you already that girls from all the surveys I've seen prefer cut. And surveys among men, that's really hard because straight men, they don't give a crap. And gay men, they're divided depending upon where you ask the question. I have some young men back here, so I'm going to.
What are you doing?
I'm
What are you
making.
doing?
I'm making a video. You're on camera. See the camera there?
Hi.
Say hi. No, say hi.
Hello.
Hi. For what?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It's very personal.
Okay.
Are you circumcised or not?
No.
What?
Does your wiener have a foreskin? Your penis? Does your penis have a foreskin?
Like the end of the cock.
No, I don't understand.
See, they're embarrassed to talk about it. I'm making a video about that, so I'm gonna come over here. You're on camera anyway. Okay, we lost them. You see how it goes? Bye. That embarrassed them. So you can leave your comments, and we're just going to wind it up for now. Tonight I'm wearing a pair of Cheap Undies brand bikini, undersized to make them snug. They're about $10 US from cheapundies.com. The glasses are vintage Spy unisex from the 1980s. You won't find these except at auction, and they'll probably be quite expensive if you can even find any. It'd probably cost you a couple $100 if you could find a pair. And a H&M hat. So that's my fashion show for this soir. I'm going to come over here and reach down and say, oops, if I can find the button there, bye from Butch.